Salutations, spooks, spirits, and specters, and welcome back to more Corpse Party Book of Shadows as we continue our horrendous journey with Miss Yui as she tries to evade the ghost that is hunting her. I was actually thinking about last time when I got my first game over, and I was thinking to myself, man, that's gotta suck, getting a pencil lodged into your throat like that? Oh. But then again, it doesn't make me think of the same way as a umbrella in another. Oh man. Anyways, let's get to the game at hand. We really didn't have time to be arguing. It was closing in fast. And as it did, I noticed the spirit's figure had become more defined. She was a tall, young woman, with her head turned sideways at a 90-degree angle. The tale of Yoshi suggests she fell down a flight of stairs, so a broken neck would certainly fit. He gave my back a shove to get me started, and with no time to object, I unconsciously obliged. Tsukasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few short moments. Oi, bakemono! Kochi da!
Machinasai! Tsukasa-kun!
Tsukasa ran as close as he possibly could to get Yoshi's attention, then turned tail and began sprinting off in the opposite direction. Kochi da zo! Bakemono! Amazingly, it worked. The spirit began chasing Tsukasa, leaving me completely unobstructed.
どうしよう。私、このまま一人逃げてもいいの？
Are you gonna make this a choice? I was torn. On the one hand, I knew this was my best chance, but I couldn't help worrying about what would happen to Tsukasa if his charm failed. I stopped for a moment and glanced over my shoulder. He was still running, and the shadowy figure was still in hot pursuit.
司くん、お守り出して！危ないよ！
いいから行けって！お前が逃げ切ったのを確認したら俺も逃げるからさ！
I still can't believe I fell for it, but this was right about when I realized the truth. Tsukasa had no protective charm. He'd just made that up so I wouldn't object too strongly to him serving as decoy while I got away.
やっぱりダメ！
I stopped in my tracks and shouted out at the top of my lungs.
待ちなさい！ヨシエ先生！
I wasn't sure exactly what I was getting myself into, but I had to do something, and calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have an effect.
あなたの名前知ってるわよ！
おい、シシド！
All at once, the black figure was facing me, though I never saw her turn around. She was flying toward me now, ignoring Tsukasa.
怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない。
I repeated this like a mantra and stuck one hand into my pocket, grasping tightly onto the one and only item I'd stashed there.
お前は私を知っているのか。私には本当にお守りがある。
Tsukasa's care, his effort, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil. And when you get right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? I squeezed the nubby little thing in my pocket, mentally preparing myself for the confrontation ahead. The confrontation I'd impulsively initiated.
シスト逃げろ。
逃げない。私は逃げないわ。神様、どうかお願い。助けて。
I closed my eyes, lifted my hand from my pocket, and brandished Tsukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this, and I really hoped I hadn't made a mistake in doing so.
私は獅子のゆい。この学校で先生を目指しているわ。
I opened my eyes to find that the shadowy spirit, Yoshi, had stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Tsukasa's pencil keeping this vengeful soul at bay?
私の代わりはいらない。死ね。
Suddenly, I was whisked off of my feet and slammed against the ceiling.
シシド。
I could see him down below. He was staring up at me and desperately leaping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose, even though he knew he'd never reach.
司くん。
I called out to him over and over again in my mind. If he could get away, if he could survive this ordeal, then it would all have been worth it. Yoshi was drawing near, and I was helplessly pinned to the ceiling. I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind that my life was over. I clung to the relief I felt at Tsukasa's safety. It was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. Then, all at once, the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle.
篠崎よしえ、そこまでにせい。
Before I had any idea what was happening, I found myself bathed in a gentle light.
おばあちゃん。
守ってやれんですまんな。せめてこれ以上邪術が拡大せぬこと。
It was the old woman who had collapsed in front of my house. She was standing down below me, enveloped in a warm glow. The black shadow lunged toward her. Then there was a horrific noise, and the old woman was gone.
シスト。
And just like that, I fell to the ground. Whatever Yoshi had done to me, the old woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she came to me this morning, and why she had to come again now. I felt like I was going to faint. Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshi's spirit was gone. She'd vanished along with the light. Around us now, the only sound was the pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof.
おい、シシド、シシド。
司くん。
I'd suffered quite a bump on the head from my fall and was decidedly disoriented, but I still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck.
バカ、逃げろって言ったのに。
ごめん。でも。
I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you, is what I wanted to say. But instead, I just passed out in his arms. I felt as though I was waking from a long, horrible dream.
おい、大丈夫か？おい、シシド？
ここどこ？
本当に大丈夫か？見ればわかるだろ。学校の保健室だって。
保健室。
It occurred to me to look at my surroundings. Probably something I should have done before asking about them, but in my defense, I was out cold. Beige walls, pink curtains, white beds with solid blue covers. This was indeed the school infirmary, no doubt about it.
どうして？
どうしてもこうしても、お前があんなところで倒れてたからここに連れてきてやったんじゃん。
あんなところ？
おいおい、まだ具合悪いんじゃないのか？肛門だよ、肛門。
肛門に？私そこに倒れてったの？
そうだけど。
私確かに学校の中で吉江さんから逃げて、そうだ、腕を怪我して。腕なんともない？
はあ？腕？
夢だったの？そんなはずない。だって本当に痛くて痛くて死んじゃいそうだったのに。
ああ、まあなんか様子が変だけど、とにかく無事でほっとしたよ。こういうのって虫の知らせって言うんだな。なんとなく気になってお前ん家に行ったら、お前のお母さんに学校に行ったって聞いてな。そしたらあんなところに倒れてるんだもんな。
司くん、
まあとりあえず詳しい話は後で聞くからさ。ちょっと待ってな。
司くん行っちゃった。吉江さんのこと聞こうと思ったのに。
あら、シシドさん、目が覚めたのね。
先生。
驚いたわよ。三國くんが血相変えて私を呼びに来るんだもの。私が当直でよかったわね。
ご迷惑をおかけしてすみません。
それはいいのよ。でもあなたずいぶんうなされていたから悪い夢でも見てたんじゃない？
悪い夢？
そうよ。三國くんもすごく心配してたわよ。
そうだ。やっぱりきっと悪い夢なんだ。昼間に怖い話とか聞いちゃったし。
ともかくもう大丈夫？
はい。
そうよかったわ。
The nurse smiled cheerfully and disappeared behind the partitioning curtain. Letting out a sigh, I laid myself down on the bed once more. It was dead silent. The rain must have let up. The only sound I heard was an occasional cough from the nurse, who was otherwise going about her business quietly.
あ、そういえばペンケース。
I thrust my hands into my pockets, not really expecting to find it, but
ちゃんとある。
the pen case, complete with Tsukasa's pencil talisman inside, was present and accounted for. Which meant that
私、やっぱり教室には行ったんだ。やっぱり夢じゃない。
おーい。
あ、司くんおかえり。
I was still trying to remember exact details about what happened when I unexpectedly felt something cold pressed against my cheek.
これって
お前うなされてただろ。汗もかいてたし喉乾いたんじゃないかなと思ってさ。ほらコーヒー牛乳。
ありがとう。
Tsukasa went out of his way to buy this just for me. It was a lovely gesture. How could I possibly refuse?
お前さ、明日というかもう今日か。推薦の試験だろ。何時からだ
9時。
あと4時間か。
もう無理だよ今日は。
I'd been put through hell on earth. Taking a test was the furthest thing from my mind. I was in tears, and I had no idea why. Maybe it was because I was so relieved, so glad to be alive.
Oh. よし。なあ、シシド。起きれるか？ちょうどいいからお前にいいもの見せてやるよ。
いいもの？
おう、そうだな。むしろお前には見てほしいんだ。
うん。
My nose was still running, but my heart felt a lot lighter. I no longer felt threatened by this school. I was comfortable and safe. The two of us left the nurse's office. with Tsukasa in the lead, and even though I was holding a cold coffee in my hand, I still felt warm all over. Neither of us said a thing as he led me through the empty halls. It occurred to me that when we last saw one another, I was mad at him.
ほら、シシド、着いたぞ。
ここって渡り廊下？
まあまあ、もうすぐだからちょっと待てよ。
もうすぐ？
I had no idea what I was looking for. I just kept staring at him, but his eyes were fixed on the window leading out into the walkway. As I gazed upon him in profile, I felt my heart skip a beat.
昨日のこと謝らなくちゃいけない。
But I just wasn't sure what to say. I'd let my feelings get the better of me, and reprimanded him for behavior that was, at least at the time, entirely reasonable. There was more to it than that, though. There was one particular reason, more than any other, that made it hard for me to think of the words to say here. He and I had run from Yoshi together. We escaped her wrath against insurmountable odds. And what if that wasn't all just a dream?
お、出てきたぞ。
I followed Tsukasa's pointing finger, and
朝日、すごい、すごい。
俺、ここでよく夕日を眺めてるんだけどさ、朝日もいいもんだな。
綺麗だよ。街がオレンジに染まっていく。
お、元気出てきたな。
ここって司くんの言ってた例の場所だよね。
おう、うん。
今まで絶対に教えてくれなかったのに、どうして今日は教えてくれるの？
別になんとなく。
なんとなくって。
I could think of a reason, but I didn't say anything. It just seemed kind of far-fetched to me, and if I were misinterpreting him, I'd be very embarrassed. He couldn't possibly, could he? My face felt kind of warm. I placed the sweaty cafe au lait can on my cheek and sighed softly.
どうした？顔赤いぞ。
そう？
まだ具合悪いんじゃないのか？
そんなことないよ。ほら、朝日が赤いせい。
ああ、なるほどな。
Boys can be so dense sometimes.
試験頑張れよ。今からすぐ戻って準備すりゃ間に合うだろ。
ありがとう。司くんのそれ好き。
え？
それとあとごめんね。
なんで謝るんだよ。
いや、昨日ほら、なんかちょっと気まずくなっちゃったし、七不思議の話して。
ああ、そんなこともあったっけ？
そんなこともって私は結構気にしてたんだけどな。
女子はほんと細かいこと気にするよな。俺は全然何とも思ってなかったのに。
そっか。
I let out another sigh and turned back toward the morning sun, stretching my arms skyward as a sudden wave of exhaustion overcame me. The day got brighter bit by bit, and I just stood there, silently trying to piece together all the jumbled thoughts rattling around in my head. I was running away from Yoshi, and Tsukasa was with me. Then I was saved by that old woman.
やっぱり夢だよね、あんなの。
As the bright rays of the sun washed over me, I felt new life and new hope welling up within, and I finally came to terms with those horrid events. Most likely, I got the pen case without incident, but then, on my way back, something hit my head and knocked me out. That would be just my luck.
あ、ちょっとシシド、動くなよ。そのまま。
I didn't know what he was planning to do, but he was staring right at me. It felt kind of like he was staring into my soul. And then... Slowly, Tsukasa drew his face toward mine.
これって。
シシド。
嘘。何これ。
I shut my eyes. I was ready for this. Or maybe I just didn't want to look. But the next sensation I felt wasn't quite the one I was expecting.
シシド、これ大丈夫か？
He'd grabbed my arm for some reason and was staring down at it intently.
何よ、紛らわしいな。で、やだ、何これ。
Turns out he was just concerned by the strange bruise I had apparently received, which had momentarily become visible when I raised my arms. It was right around my elbow, right where Yoshi had grabbed me in my dream.
痛そうだな。
全然痛くないけど。
けど？
なんでもないよ。
Giving a wry smile, I gently pulled my arm from his grip.
ねえ、司くん。
ん？
帰る前に一つお願いがあるんだけど。
なんだよ。
手つないでもいい？
手？
手ダメかな。なんでという彼の言葉にはなんとなくと答えた。そっと指先を掴んだだけの軽いものだったけど、初めて私はお互いの心がつながっているのを感じた気がして、とても嬉しかったのを覚えている。
ゆい先生、ゆい先生。
つかさくん。
ゆい先生ってば。
I knew I'd heard that voice before, but who was it? Was I just dreaming again? I still felt like I was holding Tsukasa's hand, though.
ゆい先生ってやっと起きた。
あら、え、持田くん？
そうだよ、持田聡だよ。
えーっと
I was still dazed. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that one of my students, Satoshi Mochida, was here, and he looked concerned.
ゆい先生、いい加減手を。
あら、
I finally realized what he was talking about. I was holding Mochida's hand in my own and squeezing it awfully tight.
やだ、ごめんなさい。私ったら。
The bruise is still there.
いいけどさ、ゆい先生、結構握力強いんだな。
あら、そう？これでも昔はか弱く儚い美少女として巷に名を馳せたものだけど。
それどこから突っ込んでいいの？
手厳しいわね。
Mochida was a good student. He and I got along well, and we were already falling back into our usual pattern of good-natured ribbing. Except...
ちょっと待って。どうして持田くんがうちにいるの？
それさっき話したじゃん。
え？
その調子じゃ何も覚えてないんでしょ
う。何も？
さっき俺の作ったおかゆ食って薬飲んでまた寝たじゃないか。その時話したのに。本当に綺麗さっぱり覚えてない？
全然。
笑えないよ、もう。
Mochida sighed and pointed at the table.
あれ、山崎先生からの届け物。
もしかしてわざわざそれを届けに来てくれたの？
そうだよ。そしたらゆい先生があんまりにひどい状態だったから飯作って。キッチン借りていいって言ったのはモネだから。
そっか、モネちゃんがね。
I stroked Monette's neck, and he lied down contentedly on my futon. Such a pretty kitty. I was getting kind of wrapped up in petting him, as I often did. I almost forgot Mochida was here, until he let out a huge sigh.
ゆい先生、玄関の鍵は閉めないと不用心だよ。
あら、開いてた？
うん。今回ばかりは開いてて助かったけど、でも今後はちゃんと閉めないとダメだからな。
気をつけるわ。
なんで笑うの？
持田くん、私のお母さんみたいだから。
うわ、複雑。
I didn't mean to laugh. I must have seemed kind of deranged, but I could always blame it on the fever. Mochida looked at me and let out another sigh. My poor sense of humor must have been getting to him.
でもまあ、だいぶ元気になってきたみたいでよかったよ。
そうみたい。
結構寝てたもんな、ゆい先生。
そうね。確か今朝風邪でめまいがして、学校にお休みの電話をして、モネちゃんのご飯を用意して、そこから先の記憶がないのよね。
あれ、コンビニ行ったんじゃないの？
コンビニ？
うん。冷却シートと弁当があって、ほらこれ、レシートの時間。今朝になってるけど。
本当だ。
もしかしてゆい先生、コンビニ行ったこと覚えてないの？うわー、もうしっかりしてくれよ。まさかパジャマで出かけたりしてないよな？
そんなことはないと思うけど。
どうかな。笑ってごまかさない。
ごめんごめん。持田くん、私のことずっと看病してくれてたの？
うん。
そう。遅くまでごめんなさいね。
It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't believe Mochida had been with me this whole time. I felt both guilty and grateful, and I definitely gained a new respect for him.
おかゆ、まだちょっと残ってるから、腹減ったら食べてよ。あとそれから、これ。
スーパーの袋？
冷蔵庫を見たら何もなかったからさ、ついでに買っておいたよ。
The bag was quite heavy. Inside, it was a bottle of orange juice, some bananas, canned peaches, apples, and other assorted fruits.
これ？
風邪の時ってビタミンを取るといいんだろう。それ食べて早く良くなってよ。
持田くん。
That much fruit couldn't have come cheap, especially for a high schooler. I considered offering to pay him back, but decided against it. I knew he wouldn't take my money, And besides, I really appreciated the fact that he'd gone to all this trouble for me. I'd return the favor another time. If it ever seemed like he was going to be staying late after school, maybe I'd buy him dinner. Or I could help him with preparations for the school festival.
じゃあ俺帰るよ。
あ、大丈夫？道わかるかしら？なんなら途中まで見送りに行くわよ。
大丈夫だよ。ゆい先生はおとなしく寝てて。まだ本調子じゃないんだし。第一、夜道を女の人一人で歩くなんて危険だよ。
持田くんは優しいね。そういうとこキュンとしちゃう。
あれ？そういうこと俺に言っていいの？
なんで？
Mochida and I joked like this a lot. Usually it made him blush and get adorably embarrassed. But not today. Today he just grinned sheepishly, with a mischievous glint in his eyes. I didn't quite get it. What was his angle?
司くんって誰？先生の恋人？
どうしてそれ？
ゆい先生寝てる時ずっとその人のこと呼んでたよ。うなされながら何度も「司くん司くん」って。誰なんだよ。
That crafty Mochida had turned the tables on me. And how embarrassing to know that I'd been calling Tsukasa's name.
それは
I hesitated to answer for a moment, but then figured, what the hell? Why not?
司くんはね、私の初恋の人。
その様子じゃゆい先生はよっぽどその人のことが好きだったんだね。だって先生さっきすごかったよ。俺のこと司って人と間違えてたでしょ。
やだ。
ゆい先生顔赤いよ。
これは熱のせいよ、きっと。
まあいいや。そういうことにしてあげる。
もうあんまり大人をからかわないで。
だってこんなゆい先生めったに見れないからさ。
I wasn't sure he was ever going to give me the full story of all the embarrassing things I'd done in my fevered days, and maybe it was better he didn't. Either way, I was in his debt, so he could tease me all he wanted, just this once.
やばい。そろそろ帰らないと。ゆかがカンカンだ。
今日はありがとね。もう暗いから気をつけて帰るのよ。
はーい。それじゃあ先生、食事をきちんととって頑張って早く治してくれよ。
頑張る。
ファイト。
ありがとう。いい子だな、持田くんは。いかんいかん、あの子は生徒だぞ。おいで、マネちゃん。一緒に寝よっか。会いたいな、司くん。
Yay! Chapter 4 is now available. 3 brand new soul testimonies, huh? Fever dreams? You know, I just thought about it. There was no way I was going to get any student IDs in that, because I didn't get to explore any. It was all choose your own adventure, which is fine, because that's what I usually expect from visual novel type games. Anyways. Oh, man. What an experience. Well, Chapter 4 awaits next time. So until then, thank you all very much for watching. And ciao for now. Ciao for now.